as many of you know, OctaRender is a bespoke native rendering solution made by the Octaspace team. What I wanted to do was in this video provide a quick guide actually how to use OctaRender, how to set up the add-on, how to set up or create an account. So just to get up and running as quickly as possible, and how to submit your first render. So we can cover some of the more advanced features in a separate video, but I think it would be great just to kind of for everyone a quick guide so you're not wasting any time. And let's dive straight in. So to get to OctaRender, obviously you need to go to the website render.octa.space. You'll get to this landing page and straight away you'll see this get started button. So let's click that. So once you get to this page, you'll be redirected to a sign-in page. You'll need to create an account if you don't have one. If you do, then you can just sign in, but registering an account is easy. If you click on sign up, you can either sign up via standard email, use Gmail, sign up, or even a GitHub account. But for the purposes of this video, obviously we'll sign in since I already have an account I can use. But in general, once you register an account, you'll be redirected to the platform. But let's go back. So once I've logged into the platform, you'll initially see nothing. So basically right now we don't have any projects prepared. So obviously there's nothing to show. But let's just quickly familiarize ourselves with the platform before we kind of move on. So on the left-hand side, there's an expandable menu. And here you'll see my projects. That button obviously clicks and it shows you this landing page where you'll actually see different projects that you've rendered. Those are retained, and this is again your personal private farm, so no one has access to this, only you do. But once we start rendering projects, we'll see them actually appear here. We'll cover some of these additional elements later. So this is rend nodes, analytics, and so on. We can cover those actually later on in the video because they play a key role during your render process. One first thing we need to do is get the Blender extension. You'll want to download that, and once that downloads, it'll download into your default downloads folder, whether that's Mac or Windows. And obviously we'll want to jump into Blender in a minute to actually set that up. Additionally, you'll have an account. Here you will probably have, if you've just created an account, you probably won't have any balance. What you'll have to do is click on top up balance. Now, in the case where you have an account, you'll actually have an address and you'll be able to deposit money into that address. If you've created a fresh account, you'll actually need to have a button here called Generate Wallet. So you'll actually need to click that. And once you click that, it'll generate an address. Now, in this wallet, you can actually deposit what we call Octa, or this is your digital wallet. And native Octa can be used to pay for services. You can also deposit something called Wrapped Octa. Obviously, that's more for the crypto people. The additional solutions are that you can actually deposit USDT or USDC, and again, that will be converted into Octa. So the entire transactions will be in Octa, as in rendering credits. But once you can use many on-ramps to top up USDT or USDC, and we can put separate documentation on how to do that. But once you've actually topped up, then you'll have credit up here. So this is, up here you can click and it'll show you not only balance, but your unique user ID. And we can cover some of these in a separate video. All right, let's dive straight into Blender. Okay, so now we're inside Blender. We'll want to install the actual add-on. So to do that, you need to click on Edit, Preferences. You'll want to go into Add-ons and then click Install from Disk. You'll want to find the path where you downloaded your add-on and install it from there. Okay, now you've installed the add-on, you'll actually see it here, obviously, and it needs to be enabled. You'll want to expand it, and you'll see two important fields here. Well, one is a field and one is a button. You'll want to first install dependencies. Now, one tip to always bear in mind on Windows, some users have specific permissions around Blender. So you may need to run Blender as an administrator, which is obviously quite easy. Find where Blender's installed, right click on it and just click Run as an administrator. because we need to install certain dependencies as part of our main add-on. So you'll want to do that. So once you've done that, you click on install dependencies, and it will then download the individual dependencies. All those are part, code parts that make our actual add-on work and with our platform. Okay, now the dependencies are installed, you'll want to add the config key. To do that, we need to flick back over to the platform. And if we go over to Blender extensions, you'll see a button here called Copy Blender Config. So you'll click on it, it'll say copied. We go back to Blender and we paste it. And then we click Verify Key. Okay, now that key is specifically tied to your platform, so your individual private instance of the rendering solution. So that is, don't share that key with anyone, and whoever uses it, again, if they press submit, it will send the files directly to your platform. So this is unique to you. All right, so now we've installed the add-on. It'll actually appear here in the render section, and often you might have to scroll down, and it'll be called OctaRender. So now that we've got that set up, you'll want to submit our first render. So let's start with that. Okay, so I've loaded up a Blender file here with ships floating. Obviously, it's not going to be as visible inside here or what's going on, but we can see it's quite a complex scene, and we can obviously want to render that. So how do we go about that? So if we go back to the OctaRender add-on, well, firstly, you need to choose the actual rendering engines. Octa supports both EEVE and Cycles. Obviously, Cycles is much more efficient on GPUs. It does render both EEVE and Cycles using GPUs on OctaRender, but if you want it to get done even faster, Cycles is your best choice. Obviously, some people choose EEVE because of different shading, lighting, and so on. So again, it depends on preferences. So all right, so now we have this scene here. What we need to do is start the transfer manager. Now the transfer manager actually communicates and sends files from your local instance Blender to the actual platform. Now the actual transfer service runs independently in a way. So what it means is, even if you close down Blender later on, so now we've started, it will continue to function. So if you were to once submit, you want to download later, the service will continue running. You can always go back into Blender and stop it if you wish to do so. But obviously, let's look at submitting this render. So let's call it ships, and then you'll want to choose the render output that you want, PNG, JPEG, or OpenEXR. We also do support multiple file outputs, so you can do multi-layer outputs. So let's say ambient occlusion, etc., etc. Again, it's up to you if you want to do that file output nodes through nodes. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to keep it simple. So let's go with PNG. Here you can set what you want, so match scene frame range. So in this case, with 1001 to 1300. We won't cover the batch size and step for now. We can cover that in a separate video since that's a lot more an advanced functionality. We do have a lot more functional things here, so we can actually choose what size the thumbnail size. Let's choose Blender version 4.3 since we're actually doing this in 4.3. Albeit, in most cases it won't cause an issue if you don't change that, but in some cases it's preferable we go back to we choose 4.3. or the version that you're using right now. In this, it will also include, content manager. It'll actually tell you what's being included as part of the render. We're also looking to expand and make functionality so you can actually include specific add-ons, since in many cases, people use obviously add-ons for effects. Motion add-ons, for now, the best approach right now is to bake them into keyframes until this functionality is being fully implemented. But let's go back to submitting render. So now we have the render. We want to name it job name, so we'll call it ships. Make sure to save the file, Blender file, if you already haven't. So obviously the latest changes are transferred, and then all you want to do is click submit job. and you'll see a packing blend file, and then it will start actually transferring. So right now, what it's going to do is take all the textures, all the models, everything that's included, and it's now submitted it. What we want to go back to, if we go back to the platform and click the transfers section, you can actually see the job being transferred now and the progress. So the way it transfers, it does it in chunks. So it splits it up into small chunks, so that in case you have internet issues or you have slow internet, it's a lot more manageable, and the way it transfers the actual render. Right, so now we see it's fully transferred, and we've got a name, and it'll open up automatically in a new window or a new tab specifically. Now, right now, it's not doing anything. Okay, so what we do see is the number of frames, the name of it, and obviously we can see all these are queued. Now, the next step you need to do is click on Rent Nodes. Now, OctaSpace or OctaRender is very, very unique in the way that things are done. So, as opposed to usual transitional render farms, obviously you don't really choose what is being rendered on, what nodes, nothing. You have no idea. It's a black box for you. In our case, it's very much different, because what you're going to do is you basically choose the hardware, but you also choose the pricing as well, because what we can see here is if we change to US dollars, we can see a broad range of hardware at different pricing per hour. So these are prices per hour. What we can do is we actually have something called optic scores, since we use Blender optics, and we can actually sort. So in this case, let's sort by highest octa-score or optic score. If we actually click Blender scores here, we can actually see the various Blender scores. So what this tells us is, the higher the score, obviously the faster a render will be done. So what we can do, if we go back to the hardware now, so obviously we're sorted by optic scores. All right, so then we can choose this one. It has 6 RTX 4090s for $4 an hour equivalent, or since it's an octa, we can actually see it's 5.8 octa, and obviously we have 13 here in our balance. We can choose this one too. And what you can do is you can choose one node. So let's say I just want to rent on this. Actually, let's start with this. So we'll start with just one node right now. And what you'll see is it'll redirect you to sessions and will show you, okay, I've started this, I'm running it as a render node, and it will show you how much it's charged for that individual node. If we go back to my projects and then here, we'll actually then see once it actually loads up, because obviously it takes a little bit of time to actually process and start compiling the actual Blender on that specific node, we'll start seeing it here. Okay, so suddenly now we're obviously seeing the 4 frames all queued up. So why 4 frames? Well, that node we rented out had 4 GPUs. And actually, if we go to performance, we can actually see right now for our render farm. So what you're effectively doing here is your private render farm, you're attaching hardware to it. And that's in principle how it works. It's not a traditional render farm where, again, as I said, you're submitting something and then it's a black box. This is your own private render farm, and you're saying, okay, I want this hardware provided to it. Now, one unique thing with our render farm is that each GPU acts individually. So even though those were all on one machine, all those individual GPUs, since we have 4 GPUs, each frame is being assigned to individual GPUs. So they're all working in parallel on rendering that. And obviously the purpose of that is much more efficient, faster rendering, because since you're getting a lot more done at the same time. But let's say for this, for the sake of argument, while we wait for these 4 frames to start rendering, and since the RTX 4090 probably is a complex scene, but let's there we go. Okay, the first frame has come through. The initial frame, the first initial frames will take a little bit longer than usual. Obviously, since it has to compile the shaders, etc. Subsequent frames don't have to be done. But let's say for the sake of argument, okay, you don't want to wait, you're in a real rush and you want to get more done. Well, all you can do, you go back to rent nodes. Let's sort them again by optic scores, and let's just add all these GPUs. So in this case, we've got 18 more GPUs we can add. 6 here, 4 here, and 8 here. Now if we click rent, okay, suddenly we are now attaching even more hardware to our own private render farm. And if we go to my projects, we will then start seeing these, the number of queued frames actually increase, because it will say, okay, hey, here's all these GPUs, distribute all these frames across all those GPUs. And that's exactly what will happen in a second. Okay, now we can see there's 11 queued frames, 12, it's increasing now. As those additional nodes come online, get attached to your private render farm, you now have, let's have a look. If we go back, 22 GPUs at your disposal right now, and they're all dedicated to your render. And we can go back to that over here, and we can see, okay, 22 frames are being rendered in parallel at the same time. And obviously this will speed up your render. One additional point to note, obviously, as soon as each individual render is, frame is done, they are immediately displayed here, and we can see them here in real time, actually. So, and you can actually scroll back and look. You can even view, different FPS. So once you've got a lot more frames and you want to press the play button, you can actually see in real time, and you can choose which frame rate you want to watch the actual render in. In case there's issues, so let's say in certain cases there may be a frame that's not rendered properly, or there has been an issue. Often you could actually click on the frame and click task log, and then you'll actually be able to see what's going on. So if there's usually an issue, again, you can reach out to the team sometimes and go to our OctaRender Discord, and actually you'll need to send us the actual log, and we can kind of give you an advice of what went wrong. But in certain cases, you can just click, the icon here, and it can actually requeue that selected frame. So let's say, for the sake of argument, and now I've just requeued that frame. If you want to select more, you can select multiple frames. So you can start selecting, let's say select all, and you want to requeue selected. You can also, in certain cases, there may be an issue with one specific node. So you can go down here and you can actually select frames that have been rendered by that specific node, for example. And then you can actually requeue all those too. If a node goes offline, if you can downscale at any point the node. So let's say, for the sake of argument, I want to stop this one, right? It will automatically redistribute. It won't cause an issue with the render. Even if all the nodes went offline, it will just stop where it is. Once you bring more nodes back online, it will just continue where it left off. So it's really, really straightforward, really easy to use. But again, you can see in analytics here, you can look at the nodes. We have 18 nodes, or specifically, we actually have 3 nodes right now. But you can see the actual GPUs that are assigned to it. And so that's really, really, the gist of it. It's relatively simple to do, and obviously it's rendering right now. If we want to actually download, obviously it's really, really straightforward. You just click here. You'll actually get a browse for folder. You choose the directory where you want to download. You can make a new folder, and as soon as you click OK, so let's say for this argument, we're going to make a new folder. Okay, I've made a new folder, and now I've literally clicked download. It will, as soon as each frame is done, it will start downloading. And we can see it in real time. So as soon as individual frames are done, it doesn't have to wait till the entire render is done. Each frame, as soon as it's ready, it will start downloading. And that's OctaRender. Now there's many more advanced features in here. Obviously, I mentioned around file output nodes for multi-layer rendering and so on that you can use. But in principle, obviously, right now, this is just a simple crash course. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to head over to OctaRender Discord channel. We'll provide the link in the description of this video, so that if you have any issues, feel free to reach out to us. We provide active support and build a community for artists. Thank you for watching.